Hello. Hi guys. It's me, Natalie from Creative Makers, and today we're going to be doing a jelly printing class. I just got back. We are in my kitchen, by the way. I thought maybe I was going to do it outside, but it's a little chilly for me. I don't feel like it. I'm such a California girl. I don't feel like being in 50 degrees and suffering. And so we're in my kitchen. So there is, I worked hard to clean the counter space behind me. Hi, two people. Hi, Georgia. I worked hard to clean the counter space behind me so that it wouldn't be too distracting. There's still a little something going on over there. Oh, that's from my sourdough project right now. So I'm here. I'm just going to wait for a couple of minutes and let people jump on before I start into all of this. I'm going to give you guys today the recipe for the jelly printing mold. This is what the jelly looks like. I'll give you the recipe for that so you can make your own. And the cool thing about making your own is that you can make it any size you want. So today I made an 8" by 8" plate, but you could make a whole big cookie sheet's worth. And so that it could size a big piece of paper if you wanted to work that way. Or you could do it really small, like you can buy the jelly plates at the store, like this. And they come in all different sizes. I'll even put a link up in a little bit when we're done. Hey, hi. I just got back from Rick's funeral. That was harsh. It was harsh, you guys. So many beautiful things being said about my friend Rick. Hard to fathom still. Anyway, so jelly printing plates come in packages like this. This one's 6" by 6". It looks like nothing, but it's spongy. Do that, me. And you can use that in place if you don't want to make one. You can just buy them. So, and there's all kinds of different things that you can do with them. So I have, hello third person, hey Stacy. I have all kinds of stuff here. First of all, I'm going to tell you the ingredients of how to make your own plate. And I'm going to move the cameras once I start working so you can see my hands and not my face. It'll be better. Hello, person number 4. All right, so this is what the plate looks like. And I used a aluminum brownie pan. Hi. This is 8" by 8". And the recipe that I will give you and I will post from Connie after this makes one of these pans. So you can double it, you can triple it, you can have it, you can do whatever. The recipe directions tell you the ratio breakdown so that you can figure it out for whatever size you want to do. And the ingredients for this jelly plate are really simple. So it's Knox gelatin. I'm sure that you're looking at it backwards, but Knox gelatin, the unflavored stuff. And then glycerin. And I got this glycerin at the drugstore, and it's in the aisle where they have the hand lotions. And this little bottle was it wasn't really expensive. It was like $6 and I had to buy 3 bottles. But if you order it online from Amazon, I noticed that it's way less expensive if you buy it in big quantities. If you think that you're going to be doing this, you might want to just buy a big bottle so that you can make multiples. So again, we're going to be making an 8" by 8" jelly plate. The recipe is easy. I will post it. Let me just tell you what this one was. So it's 2 cups of glycerin, 8 tablespoons of Knox, and 2 cups of hot water makes an 8" by 8" plate. You just put the glycerin in a bowl, sprinkle the Knox all over it, add your hot water, stir it up so that it's all diluted, and then you pour it into an aluminum pan. This is your best bet because you can unmold it easier, but you can try anything you want. Put it in an aluminum pan. It'll set up outside of the refrigerator, but if you it sets up in about an hour, but you can just put it in the fridge. This will last you 6 to 12 weeks. If you have a cover for this, it's even better. You can just stick it in your fridge. Hey, Maya. You can just stick this in your fridge and it'll hold there for a long time. Now, what'll happen too is over time, the water that's in the jelly plate will evaporate, and this will get tougher and it might crack. Makes for interesting prints, but that'll be up to you. You can always heat this back up, dilute it down, add a little bit of water, and reset the whole thing. When you're pouring the liquid in here to get the mold, you'll want to take something stiff like a credit card or a library card or something and just skim the bubbles off of it, because otherwise it'll dry with the bubbles and the bubbles will be part of your every print. If you like that, great. If you don't like it, take them off so that you have a nice flat print. So some of the other things that I'm going to be having here is I have a brayer. This one says jelly on it, but it can be any brayer. It's just to help get the paint evenly on the jelly plate. I have a bunch of paints here, and they're acrylics, and I would suggest working in acrylic because it dries fast, it's easy to get off things, it's just easy. And the less expensive kinds are better. So liquidy is better. So if you have heavy body acrylic paints, the kind that are really stiff, they don't work so well. Because you need to bray them, you need to like spread them on the plate, and it just takes too long, and it gets glumpy. And these things, you know, things in bottles, these are big bottles, but you know, people have the little craft bottles, those work really well too. Okay, and then the other things that you might need are you're gonna want stencils. And you can make your own, or if you have some that are store-bought, that's fine too. So I just made a whole bunch of weird stuff. And I was just playing around, and you know. So I made that as a stencil, and then all these pieces that came out of that, you can use. I made this as a stencil. I made this as a stencil. I made a little bird as a stencil. And then I just like, sometimes I like stripes and geometric designs. So I just made a bunch of things. I have that. I also have, and if you like the organic side of printing, which I do, is I went outside and I collected a whole bunch of leaves and grasses and all kinds of stuff. So my elm tree is dropping leaves still. I know many of you that are in colder climates probably don't have any leaves on your trees anymore. Sorry, I still do, just because California thinks it's fall right now. So I have these, I have a bunch of them. I have, this is oleander. I have some rose leaves. I have, my nasturtium are going crazy right now. So I have a bunch of nasturtium leaves. I love them because they look like lily pads. Hi, Marshall. I have some sort of house plant that grows, that we have outside. It's supposed to be inside, but I just liked it. And the thing is, the more ridges it has on the top, the more fun it's going to be. Geranium. What else? And this a very annoying fern that grows up the side of things and kills things, and I can't seem to get rid of it. It's like aliens. Anyway, I have all of this stuff that we can use at our disposal. So without further ado, everybody okay so far? Okay, I'm going to show you how to print on paper, and all I have is a bunch of Xerox paper right now. You can do this on good paper. You can do it on crappy paper. It's up to you, whatever. I would suggest if you're just starting to do this and you're just experimenting, do it on this kind of paper. And then if you're a scrapbook person or a junk journal person or a person that likes to wrap presents or whatever, collage person, this is really great because then you can cut it up and mix and match at will. It just all depends. All right, so let me switch camera views here, and then you can see what I'm doing. So I'm tilting the camera down. You're not going to see my face anymore. You're going to see the table. All right. So I also have a glass plate here, and this is just so I can roll ink. So it doesn't have to, it could be plastic, it could be mylar, it can even be a piece of paper. So it's whatever works for you. I just happen to have this because I use them for when I'm oil painting. I use them as my palette. So this one's a little dirty with paint. So ignore that. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna need to do is you're gonna need to unmold your jelly thing. And you can see it's really, really hard. It's got very little give. I mean, compared to regular Jell-O that you eat, it is stiff. This is more like gummy bear, gummy bear material. So, let's see, what do I got here? I'm trying to look for something to unmold. Okay, so I'm just gonna gently take my knife and sort of run it along the sides here. And I'm hoping that this will come out all in one piece. And again, the reason why you would want to use an aluminum pan as opposed to a regular pan is because it's going to aid in unmolding this baby. Okay, all right, so, and then you can just sort of, you can see I'm now pulling it away from this. Pulling it away, and now I'm just going to sort of try and massage the bottom a little bit. Oh yeah, okay. This is gonna flip out just fine. Okay. And now I'm going to unveil, come on. Ta-da! Jelly plate. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so jelly plate on the glass or whatever you want. So now you have your medium. Now I could have just as easily used this store-bought jelly plate that I've never used before. It's got a similar texture. It's made out of rubber, I guess. I don't know. I don't want to use it, but I just wanted to show it to you. All right, so now you've got your jelly plate here. And the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna get color on your jelly plate. So I've got my brayer here. I'm gonna pick a color, and I'm gonna pick this green color. And I'm just gonna put, you can just put it actually right onto your jelly, and it does not take much, so don't get excited because you can always add more. And be aware that this is malleable, and if you put a fingernail in it, it's gonna create a dent. And if you want a dent, that's fine. But if you don't want a dent, that's bad. Okay. Also too, if you find your paints are a little tight, like this is acting a little bit tight to me, you can also spray with a little bit of water, which I might just do. But the textures are interesting. And you can see that I'm already starting to get texture here where it doesn't want to pick it up. All right. I think I need some water. I hope I don't drink that now. Oh, that's better. Okay, so now you've got this pretty much covered. And now you're gonna take your stencil. I'm just gonna grab this stencil. I'm gonna put it on top. Maybe I'll take something else. Just do a little geometric thing right here. So you've got it on here. And you're gonna be able to pull 2 prints every time you do this. I've got my piece of paper. I'm putting it on my jelly mold. And now I'm just smoothing it out like a little baby's bottom. And I just want to make sure that I get this to adhere. I want to get all the places. Okay, and then we're going to lift. And here we have print number 1. Ta-da! Now, to get a ghost print, you're going to very carefully pull up these little stencils that you did. This is going to be a very ghosty ghost print, I can already tell. And another piece of paper. And away we go. Now literally, if you're doing this, I mean, you can pull 20 or 30, I'm so glad, Lorraine. Literally, you can pull 20 or 30 of these in a couple of hours without even thinking. If you have your paints all ready to go and you're all set up and you've got a pile of paper, you can do a gazillion. So let's see what the ghost looks like. Okay. So very ghosty ghost print, as you can see, but still, ooh, sticky, still interesting. So, I mean, you could do this on colored paper for sure. So, I mean, if you're opposed to white, no problem. So now let's do some sort of alternative to this. I'm gonna try one more print. I'm just seeing something here. Now I'm taking my stencil and I'm taking the side that's covered with paint, the side that was under that I pulled up, and I'm just wondering how this is gonna transfer all by itself. So let's see what happens. You know, this is a journey of discovery here. And again, paper's cheap. Xerox paper, you know, 500 sheets for $6 or $7. Let's see. Another very ghosty ghost print. But now you've exhausted all the paint on all these things. So to do like a second color on any of these, sometimes there's paint left on this, so you can just take a paper towel dipped in a little water and take it off if you're a person that does not like to see multiple layers of paint show up, you know, like mixing together. Or you can just use it and it just makes the print that much different, much more different. So now I'm gonna take, oh no, I think I want this. I think I want orange. It says orange, okay. Paint, beep, beep, okay. Same thing, oh, your brayer you might wanna clean off. Here we go. And I didn't clean it off very well because I see some green showing up there, but that's okay with me. And I left my brayer sort of wet and I can sort of see that that's making a difference here. I'm thinking craft paint's gonna do a much better job than even this Blick stuff in this Blick stuff that I get in big vats. I use it for the background, my background painting, my toning of my canvases. Okay, so there you go. So now let's do something different. Let's take, I'm trying to find some leaves I like. Let's take these nasturtium leaves. We're just gonna lay them down flat. And maybe I'll put down some, I think this is a lemon leaf. And you want to be careful that the branches don't poke into your jelly because it'll put a dent in your jelly. And if you're okay with that, that's great. But if not, all right. So now you can sort of see, I mean, you can be really exact with this stuff and you can mark your lines so that you get an exact print, but I'm not that person. But if you are that person, feel free. So I just look at the corners and I just sort of like line it up at the corners like this. And then carefully, here we go. Okay. And these are a little trickier because now you're working around the leaves and around the stems. Okay, let's see what happened. Oops, stuck. So now you've got a multi-layer sort of thing happening. Now you can see these leaves didn't work very well. Maybe if I took them off one at a time, it would be better. But you can see now you've got a multi-layer sort of thing. So again, same thing with the ghost print. You can lift it off. Needed a paper towel there. Lift it off, and now this is going to be much more interesting, I think. Modestly line up my corners. Hi, Sandy Garcia. I see you. Okay, let's see what happens. And now you've got the opposite sort of thing. So it all sort of depends on what you want to do with this. You know, how obvious do you want stuff to be? Now, I'm going to show you something else. Now, I sometimes work in the reverse, and you follow along here for just a second. So I'm going to put these leaves back on here. No, I take it back. I'm going to put red back down again. I was trying to think of how I did this the last time I did it. I'm going to put this orange down. A little more. Let's be a little more generous. Okay. And I'm going to put this down. Time. I'm going to use something different. put that down again. And this time I'm just gonna play a little bit. And I'm gonna take paint and I'm gonna smear it on with my fingers. And you don't have to smear it on with your fingers. You can use the brayer if you want. But now I'm just going to focus on covering just the leaf and trying not to get it everywhere. So now you've got multiple colors in one take. So I'm just going to do this on white just so you can see. You run the risk of having the leaves stick. Come on off. But now you've got something completely different. And then again, you can print over this multiple times. So you can see how that works. All right, and then you still have another print under here. Let's move this out of the way. If there's paint left, you've got to print. And then you've got something like that. So, I mean, there's lots of ways to do it. There's one more way I'm going to show you. I'm starting to run out of space. Okay, so with this, let's do this. Let's take this nasty vial thing that I have. And there's a little bit of stickiness to the pad, so sometimes you can get lucky and it'll, well, maybe not today, lay flat for you. Pick something else, oh yeah. Okay, put this, stick that right there, stick that right there, and maybe a leaf or two. Okay. So you start like this, and you're going to start with paint on top of everything. So for this, I'm going to use the flat part of my glass to get something pulled over here. Let's see. And so now I'm going to roll on top of these things. And I'm going to pray that things stay down. You'll see why I do it this way in just a second. And then I have been known to take stuff Okay, so I've messed around with this. Got a big glop right there. I'm gonna move it. So here's print number 1. Dun, 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 dun. Sort of ghosty, but you know, and these are things where you can add lines with markers or something. This is, when I put this stuff on fabric, this is what I use to do the embroidery work on. Because if I have something like this on a piece of fabric, now it lends itself to embroidery or stitching. Like I could fill this up with stuff, or I could do outlines, or I can whatever, but it's still really organic. But what you can do is lay the leaves back down. Lay your stuff back down best you can. And it's not going to be exact. You just do the best you can. And then take another sheet. Okay, let's see what happens. Not perfect, but really interesting still, if it had something on top of it. So I think you guys are getting the picture here about what you can do. Now, what if I just leave this here and I leave it all messy and I put a color on top of it? What'll happen? Let's find out. Oh, forgot to shake it. I'm just taking this off and rolling it off of my brayer. I'm not being very precise about it. Okay, now I've got some green. All right. Try something like this. Okay. Ta-da! Ta-da, ta-da! Layers of color. So, and then, I mean, there's still all kinds of good stuff on here that you could do yet again. So, you know, more leaves, more of everything. I see questions and I'll get to them in just a second. So let me just mess with this a little bit. I start to get really haphazard with this stuff because I like it. Leaves, leaves, leaves. Can you guys hear my cat? She's meowing behind the door. She wants to come in. Okay. Again, lots of layers of lots of stuff. Okay, so let me look at some questions. Let me wash my hands. I'll be right back. Da-da-da-da. I'm also going to let the cat in. I will be right back. Come here. Hi there, Kitty. Come here. Thank you. Do not come up on the table. You're not allowed. Okay. I told you not to come up here. Ooh, that was fast. She is quick. Okay. All right. So let me see what I can do about people asking questions. All right. I'm just going to scroll over to the beginning and see what's going on. Blah, 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 blah. Hello from Florida. How cool is that? I'm glad you like it, Stacy. I can't wait to try it. I'm glad, Lorraine. It's not hard, not at all. With a wooden spoon or brayer be a bad thing to use? No, I think you could use anything. You can use a brayer, you can use a wooden spoon, whatever. I like hands because then I can get into the leaves and stuff, but use whatever. I mean, all the tools are completely malleable. You can completely work this to whatever you've got in your house, whatever you've got in your kitchen or your studio, or, you know, I'm just using sort of like the basic tools, but you can make it work. I was sort of wondering how this would work with acrylic inks. Would it work? You could feasibly do it with printing inks, or even, you know, I know that you can do it with fabric paint. And if you did it with fabric paint, then you could do this with fabric. It's the same exact process. You just put fabric paint down instead and then put it on a piece of fabric. There is an additive called E6000, I think, made by Golden, and it's a textile fixative, a textile medium, and you can add that to your acrylic paints to make it so it's textile stable. So you would use that painter thing, and then you would run it under an iron for like 2 or 3 minutes. Fixes the paint so that when you wash it, the paint doesn't come off. Let's see what else. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, excellent. Good. I have a few different sizes of jelly plates. This is from Maya. I love the idea of having a recipe to make my own. Exactly, because then you can make it any size you want. You want a circle? Use a circle thing. Want a square? Use a square thing. Want a big long thing? Use a cookie thing. You know, that way you don't have to worry about, you know, is it the appropriate size? And Patty's watching. Hey, Patty. Gold. Yes, the GAC. That's it. The GAC medium. I couldn't remember what it was. GAC. G-A-C. That's the stuff that makes it textile stable, or color stable on textiles. Okay, so, I mean, that's it. It's not a hard medium. It's got lots of opportunities. Making your own stencils makes it even more personal. When I was with Connie, she would make her own stencils by taking a glue gun and having a piece of wax paper and actually taking the glue gun into shapes, putting another wax paper on top and flattening it. And then when it cools, now you've got this plastic shape in whatever shape you want. Oh, I forgot to use my bird. It's all right. I'll do it another day. Anyway, so that's it. That's all. I mean, easy peasy, right? Any questions? Anything that you want to know about? Oh, here she is. She is not allowed to be here. Okay. All right. Thanks, you guys. She thinks she's a baby. I know. I don't get it. Sandy, I. All right, you guys, that's it. Have a beautiful Sunday. I will not be doing interviews for a couple of weeks because I have a commitment next Sunday and then Christmas and New Year's. But I'll be back after that, and I'll post when I do the next interview. I'll be in the group and I'll be commenting and posting stuff, like I always do. You're welcome, Sandy. And we'll just go from there. Have a beautiful day. And if you do any of this, post it to the group. Let me see. I want to see. All right, that's it. Bye, people.